got off of a call with a client of mine, and something came up that oftentimes comes up with my clients, with the men I'm working with, and it also comes up in my own life. So I thought I would talk about it today. And the thing that we talked about was fear of success. And fear of success is probably the thing that most of us guys struggle with in one form or another. Either we're afraid of being successful or we're afraid of not being successful. And those two things tend to keep us stuck in playing small and not really giving our gift to the world. My client brought up that he wanted to take this training, and the training would lead to a certification, and the certification would allow him to do something different in the career that he's in. He's currently in a different career and he's thinking about changing careers, but he's afraid. He's afraid of all kinds of things. He talked about his fear of what other people might think. Who does he think he is to go and do this? He's afraid of what his parents might say. He's afraid of what his colleagues might say. He's afraid of what his friends might say. And the thing is that he's in a job right now, and the job it's okay. It's a good job. It's a solid job. It's a job that he could spend probably the next 20 years in and be okay. But that was the problem, that he would just be okay. He wouldn't really achieve the kind of success, the kind of financial freedom, the kind of emotional freedom that he was longing for. He thought that this certification would at least start him in that right direction. But again, he was afraid of making that call. He was afraid of setting up an interview with somebody to talk about this possibility of getting certification. And as we talked about it, I realized how often I will be afraid of doing something because I'm afraid of what other people might think. I'm afraid of the failure that might come with that. Launching a YouTube channel is a risk. All of my friends and family and people that I talk to know that I'm doing this. And what happens if I'm not successful? What happens if I don't get millions of subscribers and tons of likes? What's going to happen then? Putting yourself out there in the world is a scary proposition. And yet I do it because I'm hoping that someone might see this and be inspired to go after their dreams. So just like my client was afraid, I'm afraid. And you probably are too. If you're watching this video, there's a good chance that you're afraid of failure. And oftentimes it's not really the failure that we're afraid of. We're actually afraid of the success. Because what happens if you get successful? For my client, he would have to change jobs. He would have to get out of his comfort zone. He would have to go do something that would bring him probably the kind of income and the freedom that he wanted. In all likelihood, he would have to change friends, and he would probably lose some friends along the way as well. Success for him meant maybe he would have to do more work. Maybe he would have to apply himself more. Maybe he would have to really buckle down and do the things that he's afraid of in terms of studying and showing up and putting in the hours to be able to get the kind of skill sets that he needs. There's a lot of risk in all of that. And then on the flip side of that, he's afraid of failure. He's afraid of looking like a fool. He's afraid that his parents would be upset, that he said he was going to do this thing, and once again, he didn't finish it. Or that his friends would think, well, you don't have what it takes. You can't do this. And then he would go and do it and then fail. It's this fiction, this narrative fiction that's keeping him stuck in this place of playing small. Like I said, he could stay where he's at and he could live okay for the rest of his life. There are people at his organization that have been there 20, 30 years and they're okay. But there wouldn't be any achievement. There wouldn't be any advancements. It would just be doing the same thing day after day. And if that's what you want in life, God bless you. I'm not trying to disparage that at all. I'm simply saying for me, that's not something I want. I want more impact. I want to have more reach. I want to have more inspiration. I want to do things that inspire people. And I can't do that if I'm playing small, and neither can you. You're going to have to take some risks. And those risks could be financial risk. They could be social risk. They could be emotional risks. We're afraid that keeps us stuck. It keeps us in our cave, so to speak. And that's because being in the cave is safe. The lions can't come get you. You're safe. And most of us get locked into that. If you walk around in the world and you go to the grocery stores and the gas stations and the post office and you see all of these people are great people, but most of them are playing at a level in which they're stuck. And it's only those few people who are brave enough to say, I want something more and to go after their dreams. When I decided to go back to school to become a therapist, this was a huge decision because it impacted my family. It impacted my finances. It impacted the amount of time that I would have to do work. I was terrified that I wouldn't make it. I had started and stopped so many things in my life because they got hard that I was afraid this would just be another thing that I would start and stop and not finish and just feel a lot of shame around. But I decided that I was going to persevere, that no matter what, no matter how long it took, I was going to do the thing. And the reason I knew it would be okay was because there was a roadmap. There were people who had gone before me. I knew if I went to school, if I applied myself, if I went to classes and I persevered through the school, and if I showed up at my internship and I did that for a number of years, then I'd be able to take my exam, then I'd be able to be licensed, and then I'd be able to start a private practice. And I did all of that. I started a private practice and the practice is extremely successful. I get to help a lot of people. And all of that resulted from a decision I made, but I had to resist the fear. I had to resist the comfort of staying where I was at. How do we face our fears of failure? How do we do something, even though maybe instinctually the resistance is telling us, don't go out there. Don't expose yourself. If you expose yourself, you're going to get hurt. How do we bypass that? For me, the thing that keeps me going is the idea of courage. Courage doesn't mean you're not afraid. Courage means you're afraid and you do the thing that you're afraid of. When fear comes around, it's just a clue that there's something you're supposed to do. And if you embrace that fear and you push forward through it, then you're going to advance. You're going to get on the other side of that. When I was talking to my client, I reminded him about 6 months ago, he had some work done on his house and he had a vendor come over and do the work and they did a shoddy job and he wasn't satisfied with it and he wanted them to come back and fix it. But he was afraid of the conflict. He was afraid of making the call and saying, hey, I don't think you guys did a good job. I want you to come back and fix this. He had already paid them. He felt they're not going to come back. They're not going to come back. They're not going to be good on their word. I'm just out of the money. So what's the point in making a phone call? We talked through it and he called and left a message. Now, of course, they didn't call him back. The point wasn't that they were going to call him back. The point was that he did something that scared him. As we were talking today, we were talking about that fear. I reminded him of that call and I said, do you regret doing that call? Do you regret making that call? And he said, no. I said, why not? It was a failure, right? They didn't call you back. They didn't fix the thing. It was a complete failure. He said, no, it wasn't. I made the call and that was a success. And I said, that's it. That is absolutely it. That's a success. So even if you go after the certification and you don't make it, it's going after it that is a success. That's what you want to focus on, is that, hey, I did this thing that scared me. Another thing that keeps me going is knowing that there's a roadmap, knowing that other people have traveled this road before me and that they've gotten results. One of the reasons I started this YouTube channel was because I have a friend of mine and he started his YouTube channel about 2.5 years ago. And he's up to, I think, 250,000 subscribers right now. And he's doing great. And I'm really proud of the guy because he inspired me. He inspired me to start my YouTube channel. And he said, when I started doing this, I felt like I was just a lone voice in the wilderness, talking to a camera alone in my room, just like I'm doing right now, talking to people and hoping that somebody would hear the message. He said it took him about a year to get his first 1,000 subscribers. Then it started to take off. A couple videos went viral. He got more subscribers. He said, I knew that if I was consistent and I just showed up and I did the work and I put in the effort, that eventually I would be rewarded for that. And now here he is 2.5 years later, being very rewarded for the work that he's done. And your path might not be to start a YouTube channel. Your path might be you want to go back to school or you want to start a business or you're looking to start a new career. Whatever your path is, there's people that have gone before you, and there's absolutely no reason why you won't be successful if you do the work that you need to do to get there. Follow the roadmap. Show up suit up, and be there every day. And that's essentially the recipe for success is consistency over time with effort is going to bring opportunity and success. The third thing is you have to do it even when you don't feel like it. This morning I woke up and I did not feel like making this video. I feel a little under the weather right now. I think maybe I'm catching a cold or getting a sinus infection or something. And I wanted to go back to bed. I didn't want to shoot a video. I didn't want to do my day. I didn't want to see my clients. I didn't want to do what I know that I need to do in order to be successful. But I did it. Here I am. In fact, this is the second time I'm recording this. I recorded it the first time and the microphone was off. And so I had to re-record the entire thing. When I pulled up the first video into my editing program and saw that there was no audio with it, I was like, ugh, I don't want to do this again, but I'm going to persevere. Here's the thing about me. I am tenacious. I do hard things. And if you have that attitude, if you have the attitude that I'm going to play full out and you do that every day over a period of time, there's absolutely no reason why you won't be successful in whatever it is that you chose to go after. But you have to choose and you have to go after. What is it that you want to choose? What is it that you want to do in your life? Where is it you want to go? Where is it that you're playing small? Make a comment below. I would love to hear from you. My encouragement for you today is just take one step. What's one thing that you can do today to move you forward towards your goal? Do it. All right? Tell me in the comments. Like and subscribe. I hope you found this at least a little inspirational, and I'll see you next time.